Good morning, Anton. How you doing this morning?
Good
Still
morning,
did it.
Darmish.
Whatever. Let's carry on.
Good morning, Darmish. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a week. Feels like a Friday, but it's a Thursday. So here we go on a Thursday. How's the week been so far for you?
The week has been great, and you're right. It's been one thing after the other, one, all good things happening. So I'm super excited, and yeah, it's a beautiful day here.
That's cool. I've been busy with the whole IMAX stuff. Apparently, our party is getting oversold, but we'll figure that one out. But I'm super excited about that one. And the appointments are happening too. So yeah, we're keeping busy. We got 2-ish weeks to go to Vegas. So good times.
I'm sure we'll be fine. I am no worry at all about it. On the
Same,
contrary, I'm
same.
so looking forward to see our friends and family of the industry, be able to have conversations and see what's happening, which sort of ties up of yesterday. I had the opportunity to be part of a panel for MPI Potomac chapter here in Washington, D.C., and we had a great turnout, and we have great things going and happening during the panel of discussion.
Great. Well, let's talk about that today then. Let's pick two of your favorite topics and that you had your discussion with and dive into that. What do you think?
I think it's a great idea. Love it.
All right, let's do it. All right,
Okay.
Anton, here we go. So you had your Potomac chapter event yesterday, and it sounds like it was kind of fun and very, you know, invigorating to the senses of the brain. So if you were to say your two favorite topics of what yesterday was, what would those two be?
Well, the way that the setup was for yesterday's meeting for MPI Potomac was more of a brainstorming, learning about what are the issues and what are the good, the bad, and the ugly that are happening in the event industry between both parties, the ones who are planning and the ones who are assisting with the planning, which we usually call buyers and suppliers.
Right.
So the reason that we did that is to find common denominators between all the different parties that were involved. So we have meeting planners, we have third parties, we have AV, we have DMOs, CVBs, and everyone else who was participating. So some of the two topics that came a lot throughout the conversation was relationships, how
Mm-hmm.
relationships are impactful in how you do business. And the other, the one who came around is the short runway or the short period of time that many of the planners have to deal with in order to have together an event, a meeting, and
Yeah.
how that actually is interconnected.
All right.
So there
Well,
you
let's unpack that a little bit, eh? Let's talk about
go.
relationships a little bit more. So, what would you say were the five items that came out of that bubbled up, that resonated with you really well when talking about relationships?
Yeah, a relationship was more so that based upon the relationships, they have found that trusting in their partners, and by partners I mean your AV, your hotels, your destination, your third parties, your housing registration, I mean, have helped them to ease the process and also find new ways because they're not only dealing with budgetary problems, which, everything has gone up. Let's be honest. An airline ticket used to be $200 from point A to point B. Now it's
Right.
$800 out of nowhere. So
That's
that
funny.
cuts your budget. How can you actually use the relationships to find ways to have some budgetary savings? And so the relationship built to the communication, being able to have a good open communication. However, what they mentioned very clearly is be honest and be upfront of what you want, what you need. If you don't tell me from the beginning and you come to me back halfway through, it's hard to help you because I can have a better plan how to help you from the very get go.
That makes
Transparency.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
transparency
I
is where.
guess I guess just jumping in here, like it's setting up that expectation out of the gate. And once you set the and we go through that too, when we're doing our consultation during the contract process or even the sales process. It's about understanding what the end goal is and then trying to facilitate the best way to do it. Because sometimes, you can have a Ferrari version of a product And sure, that's fantastic, but maybe you don't need the Ferrari version, right? Maybe you need a Fiat version or an Honda version. I love cars, so that's my analogy. But
Well, you're talking my language.
but like I think that's very important. And being upfront, like you say, is like, hey, I need A, B, C, and this is what my goals are. Then you're correct. I think vendors and partners can definitely give you a solution that will hit that goal in a different way. Maybe not the way that you perceive it to be, but I think that totally makes sense.
It might also help you with the budget because if I come to
Yeah,
you and I say,
that's
"Oh,
right.
darn it, I want to buy this." Yes, you want to buy the Ferrari, but maybe it's like, well, maybe we need to take it down a little bit and let me give you maybe XYZ kind of cars, sort of thing. So that was one of the components that they say, let me know what you need, and maybe I can help you to get the Ferrari, but I need to know ahead of time.
Was
Which
there
also
was there any real life examples that came out of that discussion that you can share?
Well, since we were a combination of different elements in the tables and we were jumping, we have 15 minutes to talk about this. So we have four tables. It was a carousel setting. So we got really deep into the diving of it. It was more about the current issues. So it was more about what I'm experiencing. My board of directors wants this. My CEO wants that. My VP of meetings wants this. Or the plans were like, well, you come to me and you want all this, and I present you the cost, and then you're like, whoa, what's happening? That
Right.
is crazy. It was more of what was the common denominator that we found was the one.
It's funny, So recently we went through a consultation where a customer wanted to have the ability to track attendees, right, throughout the conference at specific spots, passively, not proactively, not engaged with the scanner. So the two technologies there would be RFID and
And
beacons,
the-
right? But each one has its pros and cons in what they need to achieve. So what was really nice is discussing what the end goal was at the end of the day. We're able to suggest the right solution for that goal rather than going with both options, which is not recommended. But the idea here is that, you can choose this or that based on your specific goals. And sometimes, customers may not know the path to getting the data that they want, and it could save them money because maybe you don't need all the frills, right? You just want to get the right technology for the right fit, and you're ready to rock and roll. So that's exactly it. It's like there was a good collaboration, communication about goals, and then we're able to set the client up for success with the right technology that fit.
Perfect example because that was some of the things that we talked about it. But having that communication, then you can give me your best advice, the best practice that you see fits best to meet my outcome and what I wanted to achieve as a goal.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we did that. Also within the communication was about using your partners in the right manner or way or form or methodology. We have DMOs sitting also at the table and they say like, we can help you. We can find ways to assist you, but let us know from the very beginning when you're
Right.
planning this. Don't come to us halfway through because not much that can be done. We need to be involved from there. So that's something that also came into place. Be proactive. Besides having the communication, the transparency, the upfront, the budget that is given, just let us all know what you need and try to be realistic within that communication.
That's right.
Because you said it, expectations. And they all said that also very much. Set the expectations right. Don't expect that you want to buy this or you want to promise to want to do that when you know you're not going to be able to meet that. So
Makes sense.
yeah, those were key things that we talked.
Well, let's jump into the second one. Kind of want to keep these nice and sweet and
All
short,
righty, let's do that.
impacting. So the second topic we want to talk about is not contracted, reduced timelines of where things are going. We're actually noticing that too, where projects are getting signed. The sales process is taking longer, but once it's signed, the turnaround time is very quickly. And it was interesting. Yesterday, I saw a post on LinkedIn by Mike from Meeting Made Easy, and he was actually doing a video post about, hey, the contracts, like, they need to get signed because you may not get the space that you're supposed to get, and I echo that because that is something that comes with us too. Like, if you don't sign your contracts in time, you lose the availability of the service that we can provide, and a good service too. And we strive for good service. So, yeah, what did you guys talk about that?
Well, we talk about the fact that, yes, indeed, the way that this contracting is coming, or the way that the meetings are taking place, and this is not only part of what the meeting planner wants to do, sometimes comes from above them, comes from the board of directors, which they don't understand what is taking place in the marketplace, come from the
Right.
CEO, CFO, or whomever above them. And one the biggest challenge is that they need to find those dates in the spaces. And what you just said is right. The shorter the window, is more difficult to find the desired dates, find the space. And if you find it, they give you a shorter window to move in and move out because they have something else coming in. And also that they don't find that it's meeting their budget because, hey, the hotels are far more expensive. The room rate, the space at the venue is is higher because there's higher demand. So has a lot of impact. And the biggest thing that hotels pushed back was that also the contracting process is lengthy because when legal gets involved, oh Lord, we all know what legal does. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole because we can talk for hours.
Hey, it's important. It's important.
but it's like, oh, it takes forever. So that was one of the things that also came up. But with that said, they said, let us know from the very beginning when we start negotiations as well. Why are we doing this, and what is the short term reason to have this happening, and we can help you expedite. Because sometimes if you don't tell us, we just don't know, and we think that might take longer or less. So the other component is like use your partners when you're doing this short window time, because we might come up with better solutions and we might come up with better ideas on how to help you in order to expedite the process. But if you don't let us know, so then we're in the dark and we just cannot help further than that.
Well, there's a limitation of spaces these days. Everyone's fighting for the same dates. So,
Correct.
word of advice is get those contracts signed sooner. But it's not even just for hotels, right? It's for everything else.
Everything.
Like the events are picking up a lot for in person. Service staff is low all across the board.
All across.
So trying to facilitate all that is a circus, and also rates are going up, and that's really what's
Even
something to
transportation
keep in
of
mind as well.
equipment. Like some of the AV companies who are participants are like, we may not have the trucks to get this delivered timely.
Interesting.
We don't have
Yeah.
the number of employees that we used to have all this done. And we used to send you 8 people. Now we have to send you 2. So we have to triple
Right.
the time. It makes sense. Everything is correlated. And which brings us to the fact that we as industry are so dependent on each other. And that's what we need to rely and trust on each other. So that is why we all need to keep each other checked and connected and keeping that communication going left and right. Otherwise, we're going to just find
Right.
obstacles. And
Yeah. Well, sounds like a really good session. That's really awesome. Some good takeaways to share with the
Absolutely.
community.
Well, and this came just from being at a panel and having a great conversation with all our friends and family of the industry. It was really good. Actually, it was very, very good.
I love it. Well, thanks, Anton. That was really nice. Really appreciate the share. And again, just a friendly reminder to everybody, make sure you subscribe. Without the subscriptions, we can't grow. So that's very important. And that also encourages Anton and I to do more content and start bringing more in. Hopefully, going at IMAX, we'll be able to bring in even more content for everybody to report back. So we still got a couple of weeks-ish. It's coming really fast. So that's really exciting. And that's it. So until next week, we will see you then.
See you guys next week. And remember also, if you have any topics that you would like us to talk about, comment, or have a little opinion here and there, let us know. We're happy to discuss anything that you guys would like to have discussed.
Great. Well, thanks a lot.
Have a good one.
Bye.